So look, somewhere along the line, the message got twisted. We told people to be strong, to stand on their own, to never need nobody. And yeah, that sounded empowering, but deep down, it created a quiet kind of loneliness nobody want to talk about. See, independence is beautiful, but when it turned into isolation, it stopped feeding your soul and started draining it. We live in a time where everybody want to prove they don't need nobody. I got me. I'm good alone. But behind that pride is pain, because no human is built to do life solo. We was made for connection. Real ones, not the kind that come with likes and follows, but the kind that come with energy, with presence, with peace. But the world been rewarding the wrong things. No, strength look like silence. Love look like weakness. And vulnerability look like losing. So now you got women out here doing everything right, grinding, shining, building, achieving. But when they lay down at night, it still feel empty. Because independence without intimacy don't fill the heart. You can have the house, the bag, the car, but when you ain't got nobody to share peace with, it all start to feel like noise. It's like working your whole life to climb a mountain, and when you reach the top, there's no one there to celebrate with. That silence hit different. And the crazy thing is, most of them ain't even wrong for chasing freedom. They just ain't realized the system been teaching them how to survive, not how to connect, how to compete, not how to love. We told women to boss up, but never showed them how to stay soft without being stepped on. We told them that never depend on no man, but never told men how to show up so she could depend on him. So now both sides confused. The men feel unneeded. The women feel unseen. And everybody's screaming, I'm good when they not. See, real independence don't mean isolation. It means you can stand on your own, but you still choose to build with others. It means you ain't afraid to lean when life get heavy. It means you don't lose yourself in love, but you don't block love out of fear either. Because there's a difference between being strong and being hardened. Strong means you bend but don't break. Hardened means you don't bend at all, and that's how people crack. A lot of women been carrying the weight of whole worlds on their shoulders, raising kids alone, holding families together, working two jobs, chasing dreams, and somewhere along that hustle, they started believing that needing someone was a weakness. But it's not. It's human. It's divine. It's balance. You're supposed to have moments where you rest, where you trust, where you let somebody else pour into you. But we built this culture where everybody scared to need somebody because they don't want to get hurt. So they protect their heart so much, they stop letting it beat freely. And that's the real confusion. We mistook healing for hardness. We thought peace meant distance. We thought independence meant never letting nobody close enough to hurt us again. But peace ain't found in walls, it's found in boundaries. It's knowing you can love without losing yourself. It's knowing you can walk alone but still reach back to connect. That's the kind of balance that keeps a soul healthy. I've seen too many women say, I don't need nobody. But deep down, they crave that safe space, that real energy that don't drain them. They just scared because every time they opened up, they got played or left broken. So they built armor and called it confidence. They started moving like soldiers when their spirit was made to love. And that's a tragedy. The world made them warriors before it ever let them be women in peace. But real strength ain't in shutting down, it's in staying open. It's in knowing you can still feel, still hope, still trust, even after the storm. That's the kind of power that don't fade. That's the kind of spirit that glows different. And when a woman finds that balance, when she learns she can be both independent and connected, that's when she starts moving with peace instead of pain. That's when she starts chasing validation and start living in value. That's when she stopped proving and start flowing. Independence is about building your foundation. Connection is about building your peace. And when you got both, that's when you become untouchable. Because you ain't dependent on nobody, but you also ain't running from love. You got your purpose in one hand and your peace in the other. That's real freedom. That's the balance the world forgot to teach. And once you master that, you stop surviving and you finally start living. See, the problem today is everybody trying to look happy instead of actually being happy. We're living in a world where everything got a filter, not just the pictures, but the people too. You scroll through your phone and all you see is smiles, vacations, success stories, couples looking flawless, bodies looking perfect. But behind most of that is pain nobody talking about. It's comparison, it's pressure, it's insecurity, dressed up as confidence. And what's worse, everybody chasing a version of life that don't even exist in real time. Social media made the illusion stronger than the truth. It made people start believing that if your life don't look perfect, you're doing something wrong. But real life messy. It's ups and downs, wins and losses, peace and pain. That's what make it real. But now, people are scared to show that side. They're scared to be seen struggling because they think struggle means failure. So they post the highlights and hide the healing. And that's how the cycle keeps spinning. Everybody pretending, nobody connecting. You ever notice how people spend more time staging their moments than living them? They're there, but the food get cold because they're trying to get the perfect shot. They on vacation or glued to their phone, making sure everybody else see they're living. They in love but arguing off camera just to smile on camera again. That ain't peace. That's performance. And the more you perform, the more you forget who you really are. See, what happens when you build your worth on attention is you start needing it just to feel okay. You start chasing validation instead of vision. And the problem with validation is it's never enough. No matter how many likes, shares, or comments you get, it fades quick. So you go back again for more. And little by little, that becomes your drug. You start living for applause instead of alignment. You start feeling empty when nobody watching. And it's not just women, it's men too. Everybody out here trying to look like they winning. But deep down, most people losing peace, losing sleep, losing self-respect just to stay relevant in a fake world. They adding their lives to impress people who don't even know their truth. That's the cold part, trying to prove yourself to strangers while losing connection to yourself. And you can't heal in a space that's built on pretending. You can't find purpose in platforms that reward perfection. See, the real flex ain't looking perfect, it's being authentic. It's showing up raw, honest, and unfiltered. That's rare now. People call it oversharing, but really it's just truth. And truth make people uncomfortable because it exposes what they're running from. You gotta remember, social media is a tool, not a mirror. It's supposed to serve you, not define you. But too many people let it shape how they see themselves. They start comparing their behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel.
They forget that every perfect life online got pain behind it.
Every relationship goal post might have a broken trust behind the smile. Every success story might have nights of doubt behind it. That's the reality they don't show. The illusion of perfection got people thinking they're failing when they really just human. They chasing something that don't exist. A flawless life, a perfect body, an endless high. But happiness ain't built like that. Happiness live in the moments you don't post. It's in the quiet when nobody watching. It's in the peace you feel when you're not trying to impress nobody. It's in being present, not performing. You ever notice how peace don't make noise? That's why it don't trend. Because peace don't need validation. It don't need an audience. It don't need a filter. It just is. And when you start chasing that instead of likes, you start feeling free again. Real talk, the happiest people I know ain't the loudest online. They're the ones who build something deeper than what a screen can show. They found joy in reality, not in representation. They don't need to prove they're good because they were good. That's power. That's control. That's what peace look like when you stop comparing yourself to illusions. So next time you scroll and start feeling like you're not enough, remember this. Nobody posting their pain. Nobody's showing the nights they cried, the fights they lost, the days they doubted themselves. You only seeing what they want you to see. And once you stop believing that highlight reel, you start living your real life again. You start walking in your truth instead of chasing somebody else's version of it. And that's when you break free from the illusion. Because real peace ain't found in the post, it's found in your presence. See, the real problem out here ain't just broken homes, it's broken men. Somewhere along the line, the definition of manhood got lost. It used to be about principles, purpose, and protection. Now it's about ego, status, and control. And when that kind of energy runs the world, everything around it starts to fall apart. Families, love, trust, even peace. We got a generation of men who never saw what real leadership looks like. They saw survival, not structure. They saw power, not purpose. So now they're out here thinking being a man means being hard all the time. They don't talk about feelings, they don't show vulnerability, they just move like machines, cold, detached, trying to look strong, but breaking in silence. And that's the thing, broken masculine energy don't always look weak. Sometimes it look confident, successful, even dominant. But deep down, it's insecure. It's scared to love, scared to fail, scared to be seen for real. You can't build peace off that energy. You can't build a healthy relationship, a strong home, or even a clear mind when you lead from fear. And that's what most men doing, moving from fear instead of faith, reacting instead of reflecting. They were told not to cry, not to care, not to feel, so they learned to numb everything. But when you numb your pain, you also numb your ability to connect. And that's why so many women out here saying men don't understand us, because too many men don't even understand themselves. Broken masculine energy shows up in different ways. Some men hide behind money, thinking providing is enough. They buy things to fill the space that love's supposed to fill. Some hide behind pride, never apologizing, never taking accountability, always trying to prove they right. And some hide behind silence. They just shut down completely, thinking distance is power. But the truth is, real strength ain't about control. It's about responsibility. It's about being solid enough to protect, humble enough to learn, and wise enough to listen. We living in a world where too many men never had men to teach them that. Their fathers weren't there, or if they were, they weren't present. So they grew up watching their moms do it all, and now they expect women to carry everything or resent them for being too strong. That's what broken masculine energy does. It confuses leadership with control and partnership with possession. A real man don't compete with his woman, he completes her. He don't silence her voice, he amplifies it. He don't run when things get hard, he grounds himself, handles his emotions, and moves with purpose. That's the kind of energy that brings balance. That's what masculinity is supposed to be, not dominance, but direction. Not ego, but elevation. But right now, too many brothers running from their own healing. They drown in distractions, chasing women, money, status, anything to keep from sitting alone with their thoughts. Because sitting alone means facing themselves. And that's the hardest thing to do when you've been taught that feelings are weakness. So they hide behind hardness. They turn off their highs because the world told them that's how you survive. But survival ain't living. You can't lead nobody when you're still lost inside. And that broken energy don't just hurt them, it hurts everybody connected to them. It makes women feel unsafe, unloved, it makes kids grow up confused, watching patterns repeat. It makes communities unstable because the foundation, the men, forgot what it means to build, not just exist. But it ain't too late, because real men evolve. They face the mirror, even when it's uncomfortable. They do the inner work, they break the cycles, they learn to feel again. They understand that protecting your family ain't just about money, it's about emotional safety too. It's about creating peace, not chaos. It's about showing up even when it's hard. See, when a man heals, his energy changes everything around him. He becomes a calm in the storm, not the cause of it. He moves with clarity, not confusion. He builds, he guides, he inspires not through fear, but through love. And that's the kind of masculine energy the world's starving for right now. We don't need louder men. We need grounded ones. We don't need more talkers. We need more doers. Men who live by principles, not popularity. Men who understand that strength ain't how hard you hit, it's how soft you can be without breaking. That's real balance. That's real power. So yeah, there's a lot of broken masculine energy out here, but it don't have to stay that way. It just takes awareness, healing, and humility. Once a man remembers who he truly is, a protector, a provider, a purpose-driven soul, everything around him starts to heal too. Because when a man gets right with himself, his energy don't just change his life, it changes generations. Everybody talk about self-worth, but most people don't really understand what it means. They think it's about how you look, what you got, or who wants you. But that's not self-worth, that's image. And the crazy thing is, the more people chase image, the more they forget their value. They start treating themselves like a brand instead of a human being. They start believing that being wanted is the same as being worthy, and that's where the pain begins. See, a lot of women and men too got taught early that love is something you earn. You do more, you give more, you become more, and maybe then somebody will see your value. But when you build your worth on approval, you give other people the power to define you. And once they got that power, they can break you whenever they want. That's why so many people feel empty, even when they look like they're winning. They got followers, attention, success, but no peace. Because deep down, they don't believe they're enough without the applause. The world made self-worth a competition. Who prettier, who richer, who loved more, who posted more. And in that race, people lost the point. Work ain't about how many people choose you, it's about how deeply you choose yourself. It's not about being wanted, it's about being valued. And that's two different things. Being wanted feeds your ego, being valued feeds your soul. One disappears when the spotlight fades. The other stays when the world goes silent. A lot of people confuse attention for affection. They think if somebody chases them, compliments them, posts them, they must be special. But real love don't live on display. It's quiet, consistent, rooted in respect. It don't just flatter you, it grows you. It don't just say, I love you. It shows up when things get heavy. But when your worth comes from the surface, you settle for surface love. Looks good in pictures, feels good for the moment, leaves you empty in the end. That's the trap the world built. It made self-love about selfies. It made confidence about attention. It made healing about hashtags. And now people performing self-worth instead of practicing it. They say, I'm a queen, I'm that one, I know my value. But deep down, it's still asking, why doesn't anyone stay? Because real self-worth don't need to prove itself. It's solid, it's peace. It's walking away from what don't serve you without feeling like you lost anything. You know when you really value yourself? When you stop negotiating with things that drain your spirit. When you stop begging people to see your value and start acting like you already know it. When you stop confusing pain with passion and realize that love shouldn't hurt to feel real. That's when you step into power, not arrogance, but alignment. You move different, you talk different. You stop chasing, you start attracting. Because energy don't lie. When you know you're enough, you stop moving like you're desperate for more. See, misunderstood self-worth makes people chase validation instead of peace. They think being chosen makes them valuable. But the truth is, choosing yourself is what makes you whole. You can be the finest, flyest, smartest person in the room, but if you don't respect yourself, none of it matters. You'll still settle for people in situations that treat you less than you deserve. You'll still try to fix people who broke long before they met you. You'll still mistake attention for love and chaos for connection. And that's the dangerous part. When you don't know your worth, you start accepting anything that looks like care. You stay where you not valued because leaving feels like losing. But you only lose when you stay somewhere your soul outgrew. Real worth means knowing when to walk away. It means knowing that peace is more valuable than presence. It means being okay with not being understood as long as you're true to yourself. You got to learn to separate your reflection from their reaction. How people treat you says more about them than it ever will about you. Stop waiting for someone to tell you you're enough. Act like it. Build your life around peace, not performance. And that's the kind of confidence that don't fade, that don't need validation, that don't break when people leave. And when you reach that place, everything changes. You stop begging for love and start attracting respect. You stop proving and start existing. You stop settling for almost and start demanding real. Because when you finally understand your worth, you stop chasing people and start building peace. You stop trying to fit into rooms not meant for you and start creating spaces where your soul can breathe. That's what misunderstood self-worth robs from people. Their peace, their clarity, their freedom. But once you see it for what it is, you take your power back. You stop being a mirror for other people's validation and become a reflection of your own truth. And that right there, that's when you stop living for love and start living from it. Everybody want to be happy, but nobody want to heal. Everybody talk about peace, but they still holding on to pain like it's part of their identity. And that's the thing, you can't build happiness on a broken foundation. You can decorate the cracks, you can smile through the hurt, you can post like everything cool, but deep down, your spirit's still heavy. And until you deal with that, real joy gonna always slip through your hands. See, healing ain't cute. It ain't candles, affirmations, or some weekend retreat. Healing is ugly work. It's sitting with your pain until you understand it. It's revisiting memories that still sting and choosing not to run this time. It's unlearning the patterns that made you comfortable but kept you stuck. It's admitting that maybe the person you became was just a version of you trying to survive. That's what real healing looked like. Honesty without excuses. Most people skip that part. They want the light, but not the process. They want happiness, but they don't want to face the darkness that's blocking it. So they distract themselves, new people, new habits, new goals, thinking they can run fast enough to outpace their pain. But pain don't fade with distance, it fades with awareness. You gotta face it to free it. You can't fake peace. It'll always leak through your behavior, your relationships, your reactions. Healing before happiness, that's the order. Because happiness built on wounds. You ain't clean yet, will always rot from the inside. You can't love right when your heart's still bleeding from the last person. You can't trust people when you still carrying betrayal like it's a part of you. You can't build peace when you never face the chaos you came from. Healing don't make you soft, it make you solid. It give you the kind of peace that can't be shaken, the kind of strength that don't need to prove itself. See, the problem is we were raised in a world that told us to keep moving no matter what. Don't cry, don't stop, don't look back, just grind. But grinding through pain don't heal it, it hides it, and eventually that mask cracks. You start snapping at people who didn't hurt you. You start losing interest in things that once made you happy. You start feeling empty in moments that should feel full. That's your soul telling you it's time to stop running. It's time to sit still and deal with what's inside. Healing ain't about forgetting. It's about understanding. You ain't weak for hurting. You human. What breaks you today can teach you tomorrow if you stop pretending it didn't happen. Some people go through pain and let it define them. Others go through pain and let it refine them. The difference is healing. When you heal, you stop chasing temporary highs. You stop needing constant distractions to feel okay. You start finding peace and stillness. You stop letting your past control your present. You stop repeating cycles just because they're familiar. You start realizing that happiness don't come from what you get. It comes from what you let go. And letting go ain't easy. Sometimes it means forgiving people who never said sorry. Sometimes it means forgiving yourself for what you didn't know back then. It means walking away from things that no longer grow you, even if they once made you feel safe. Healing is sacrifice. You lose the old version of you that survived everything, but you gain the new version of you that's finally ready to live. You can't fake growth. You can post quotes, talk peace, smile on camera, but if your heart's still heavy, it'll show. Energy don't lie. You can tell when somebody healed because they move different. They don't chase, they attract. They don't react, they respond. They don't need attention, they got alignment. That's the quiet kind of confidence that healing gives you. A peace that ain't loud, but undeniable. So if you really want happiness, stop looking for it in people or things. Look for it in your peace. Sit with your pain until it teaches you something. Don't rush your process. Healing don't happen overnight. It happens every time you choose not to go back to what broke you. Every time you set a boundary, every time you let yourself feel instead of numb, every time you choose peace over pride, that's what real happiness built on. Healed energy, not hidden pain. And when you get there, you realize something powerful. You was never chasing happiness, you was chasing relief. And once you heal, you don't need relief no more because the weight ain't on your chest. You start breathing different. You start living instead of surviving. And that's when happiness stops being a moment and becomes your natural state.